Welcome to another In Wheel Time podcast, a 30-minute mini version of the In Wheel Time car show that airs live every Saturday morning, 8 to 11 a.m. Central.
It's the In Wheel Time car talk show. Coming up, unique Father's Day gifts in the form of mostly unique vehicles.
Oh.
You're going to love this. Conrad has This Week in Auto History, and we'll get you caught up on the stories making car news this week. Howdy. Along with Mike Out of This World Mars, King Conrad DeLong. We always need more Jeff Zekin, fresh off of surgery. I'm Don Armstrong. Glad you could make it here with your surgical career.
Yeah. It's all good.
Had a little back surgery, a little back operation.
Non-invasive stuff. It's all good. The medicine is fantastic.
Is it?
Yeah.
Well, I've been asking him to share, but he doesn't. He didn't bring any with him.
I know a guy.
I know you too. Okay. Well, we're going to move right along here, and I am going to introduce you to a fellow by the name of Greg Berry, and he is with a company called MuniciBid.
All right.
And Greg, and so I don't screw this all up. Basically, what this is an auction site.
Correct. Good morning, guys. Great to be with you.
Hey, thank you very much for joining us. Am I right? It's an auction site.
It's an online auction marketplace for governments, state and local governments, schools, universities to auction off no longer needed goods, things they might have confiscated, lost and found, anything a government or school that no longer needs. They'll auction it through our site, and it's open to the public, so anyone can buy. Oh, my God. So that opens up this segment of our show where it's used vehicle mayhem. Because we're talking about things like a H1 Hummer, a fire truck, a police car, or an ambulance. And I understand that one guy bought an ambulance off of your site, then turned it into a camper that he's calling the Campulance. Yeah,
funny.
It's interesting what we see. What we see people do with these ambulances and other vehicles. We had another guy up in New England transform it into a tailgate vehicle, and the stretcher is what holds the grill. So it's kind of cool.
That's beautiful.
It is absolutely. And the obviously the first thing that came to my mind, as a kid growing up, I remember being a Cub Scout, and, the den mother took us to the local firehouse, and we got to see the fire truck up close, and the firemen were there showing us this and showing us that. And this particular firehouse had a fire pole. Now, they wouldn't let us go down it, but you could look down there and see how the thing operated, and had some sort of a bag underneath it. So,
So you didn't break an ankle on the way down?
Well, so the exhaust from the vehicles didn't go up to where they were sleeping upstairs. But anyway, all I can think of was one of the car shows that I watched, they were trying to get an old fire truck to actually work again as far as its pump was concerned. This thing hasn't seen a water hose attached to it in 50 years. So it's all rusted up. And all I could think of was, you know what? How cool. Buy one that's kind of stripped down, because a lot of municipalities sell those things where they've taken the hoses off and things that they can use on other equipment. So it's kind of semi-stripped down, but it's still a fire truck. And I assume that the price is proportionate to what you get. So in other words, a great big, 120-foot ladder truck that swivels in the middle to go around corners would be a little bit pricier than just a regular engine.
That's true. Yeah, it's interesting. People buy these fire trucks for all sorts of reasons. We see a lot of times farmers buy them, the pumpers, to use for water throughout
irrigation,
the farm. We have irrigation, and then we have people that collect them. We have other fire departments that will buy certain fire trucks to use them just in parades only. But you're right. The prices really do range depending on, year, make, model, condition, type. It's really kind of all over the place. Unfortunately, the market is pretty saturated with fire trucks, fire apparatus. And it's like, all right, who's buying these? So that drives the price down a little bit on the fire trucks, especially, they're buying these trucks for, in some cases, $1 million or more, using them for 20, 30 years. And then sometimes they're lucky to get 25 grand for them. at the end of that life, even though they were $1 million, just because of the market conditions with so many fire trucks out there.
Do you see fire trucks going from one one municipality to another, or a volunteer fire department? Do you see that?
It's not typical, because usually when the fire trucks are sold, they're kind of at the end of their life, and they can't be recertified for use. So that's kind of another issue. But if they are certified for use, then yeah, we do see that. But it's kind of rare once fire departments tend to not sell fire trucks until they're kind of at the end of the life.
And end of life, you're talking about where the pump doesn't work, or it's leaking really bad and the engine is smoking to beat the band, that kind of thing?
I mean, it might still be in fine operating condition, but it's time for a new one, basically.
Gotcha.
And so the old one might run fine. It's just not serviceable for what they need.
All I can think of is that,
and they're funded by the taxpayers. They got unlimited funds.
Well, all I can think of is the fact that, here's a fire truck that was built in 1970 and put in service that year. And here we are, 50 years later. And, the technology is grown leaps and bounds, I would assume, in fire trucks as well.
Mm-hmm.
And you mentioned something about certification. Is that something that they have to go through to be used?
Yes. Yeah,
it is.
So,
yeah.
and I'm on your website right now, and I've already posted it on our social media, is you sell more than just vehicles. You've got appliances, building supplies, computer and
governmental
IT stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty much anything. I mean, vehicles is certainly our number one category, followed by heavy equipment. And then it kind of is everything from there: sailboats, airplanes, land, kitchen equipment,
land
equipment. Yeah.
That is so. Are you the original creator of MuniciBid?
Yeah, I founded MuniciBid in 2006.
Wow. Well, I apparently you're doing okay, because I would imagine that most municipalities use your service.
Yeah, we serve a little over 6,000 governments across the country, and still growing quite a bit. I mean, over last year we've added over 600 more governments, and we're on pace to do that again this year. So it's been great. And I think it just comes down to really our customer service and the results that we're able to provide to the governments, but also making it super easy for the public to find these items and to bid on them. It's a lot more convenient than the old ways of doing it, where you'd have to go down, if you wanted to bid on this old police car, you'd have to go down to the township building or town hall and fill out a bunch of paperwork. And then for the town, they would end up with two lowball bidders, and they'll just take the next the highest of the lowball bidders. So that's why I started MuniciBid. We had I was serving on a town council, and I saw how we were having trouble selling surplus for a true market value instead of the pennies on the dollar. So we sold a $3,000 police car for like $300. And then the next agenda item, we're arguing over $1,000. I'm like, wait a second, we just gave away $3,000. And so that's kind of how that's where the idea for MuniciBid.
Well, I mean, I'm looking at one here, for instance, a 2022 Ford Explorer up in East Norriton, Pennsylvania, in the East Norriton Township. It's been on the line for 5 days now. And so the price that I see there, is that the minimum price that they're going to accept, $9,800?
No, that's the current bid.
I got you.
So what happens typically is items get bid on right away. As soon as they come up, there's a couple bids placed, and then there's a lull in the action. And then in the last hour and the final few minutes is where a lot of the bidding takes place.
Typical of eBay auctions as well.
Yeah, very similar.
And then I also see that you break it down by state. And
Correct.
It seems like you've got a pretty good relationship in New Jersey and Pennsylvania, because that's where all your action is. That's where the majority of your products are coming from. Or is that where they're located?
Yeah, that's where they're located. The Northeast is our kind of bread and butter. So I founded this just outside Philadelphia in a town called Pottstown. And so Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Massachusetts, New York, they're all big states. And then certain states and kind of regions and municipalities themselves sell different times a year. So the summer is kind of a little bit of a slow point for them. And then things really kick up in the third and fourth quarter.
Well, you need to get to Texas.
How long does the vehicle stay on the auction? How long is that pictured before the auction stops on that particular product?
Yeah, we typically recommend that the government set the auctions up for 10 to 14 days, and that allows us to get the word out through our marketing program.
Makes sense.
So you've got a separate marketing program for this.
Yeah. So that's one of the benefits that we offer to the governments is we have a whole marketing machine that we utilize to get the items out in front of not only our existing buyers but new buyers across a number of different mediums, really depending on the category of the item itself. So we do, obviously a lot of paid advertisements and that.
Yeah. Well, here's one that interests me, and I'm just going to throw this out there. A 1992 International. It's for sale in New Galilee, Pennsylvania, from the New Beaver Borough Volunteer Fire Department. The current bid on it, there's one bid for $10,000. It's a 92, looks like a pumper truck or a water truck. I mean,
Sure.
10 grand. Yeah, I'm all over that. I could probably I could go in business for myself and local firefighting in the forests of East Texas, camp out up there.
Park
and,
it in your driveway.
and you piss off all the neighbors.
Again.
I was thinking rice farmers could use it.
But here's some other stuff too. A light bar, like a police light bar that goes on top of the car. You currently have one bid for $1.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do they put minimum bids on some of these? The minimum price that they'll take for it?
Sometimes they'll set a reserve. We recommend they start the starting bids at about 10% of the expected value. So generally, they have an idea of what things are worth based on previous results or just sort of comparative sales.
Somebody is an expert in pricing used fire trucks or light bars.
Well, the market itself kind of takes care of it itself, so you can just kind of see what. Take a look at the year, make, model, see what you're up against and what other people are selling them for.
Well, here's one that'll sell in Texas: Big Sky gun holders.
All right.
Since you're not allowed to strap them in your back window anymore and go to high school.
Believe that or not, Greg, we used to be able to do that. They had gun racks in the back window of pickup trucks.
I remember. I'm not that young.
Okay, well, at least I didn't know that it was a thing around the United States, but it certainly was here in Texas.
Yeah.
Yeah. The other thing that I find pretty fascinating is the all of the different kinds of stuff that's on here. I mean, like you said, it's everything from shovels to great big huge fire trucks.
There's a winch.
One thing going back to the fire department is they'll sell the fire hoses, and we have a couple different buyers who buy these fire hoses and repurpose them into wallets and other accessories, belts, things like that. It's pretty neat.
Well,
who knew?
Well, yeah, who knew? And, let's face it, I don't know anymore, but used to be, the nozzles used to be brass. I don't know whether that's the fact or not, but brass bring a pretty penny.
Yeah. I mean, that's the other thing. So some of these computers, though, some towns will sell these computers by the pallet. And really what the buyers are looking for is the sort of the raw materials in these computers.
Yeah, precious metals.
As far as like the metals.
The fact that, you can go on here, ambulances, appliances. There's a couple of appliances on here. Automotive is huge, clearly. Building supplies. You want a mop bucket? I guess you could find that. Police and fire, parks and rec, all sorts of different categories on here.
And you can also go on and look at completed auctions, which is kind of where you can kind of get what stuff sells for. 2004 Ford Expedition in Beaver, Pennsylvania, sold for $2,275.
I'm in. Yeah, I mean, how bad can it be? Well, I find it fascinating. So, how come Texas isn't on here? You're looking for bidders and suppliers down here in Texas?
Yeah, we have a couple dozen agencies in Texas. It's not one of our bigger states, but yeah, we have buyers all across, millions of buyers all across the country that we market to.
How does the shipping work?
It's pretty much all pickup only.
Ah.
Okay. So in other words, get your 18-wheeler and load up that great,
Trailer.
big, huge fire truck
right.
on there and bring it on down.
Or drive it.
Or drive it. There you go.
Yeah, Pennsylvania to
I'm
Houston.
sure that'd
yeah.
be good fuel economy.
Just turn the siren on. You'll get here quicker.
Ooh, yeah.
To that end, they in certain cases, depending on the buyer, they'll remove the sirens. And fire trucks, they tend to keep the lights on. But with police cars, they remove the lights and sirens for sure.
That's okay. It's kind of like the Blues Brothers.
But then you can buy them
Yeah,
separately.
but you got to put the big megaphone on the.
That's
on
not that you know what that was, don't you?
Ghostbusters.
The big megaphone, that was the siren.
tornado siren.
Not tornado. It was the nuclear blast siren that used to go off at noon on Fridays at the schools around the world. Yeah, duck and cover.
You're old
Come on,
enough to
man.
know that. Yeah.
Yeah, shut up. We don't even go there. Well, great Father's Day gifts. Do you give out, if you buy something on there, can you create some sort of a gift certificate for me to use to give to Dad?
Sure.
We could certainly do that for you.
Okay, well, I appreciate
Here's
it.
what Conrad needs: the Chevy Tahoe push bar to put on the front of his GMC.
There you go.
It's only $130.
That
Yeah.
thing's got to weigh 600 pounds.
Yeah, that's it. Greg Berry with MuniciBid. It's been so much fun. We really appreciate it. I know it's a serious business, and it's just great to get on there and surf your website with all of the weird stuff that is on there.
Yeah, thank you so much. This has been fun.
Yeah,
I'd
well-
love to come back anytime.
If you got something really unusual or different, be sure and give us a call, and let's get you back on.
Christmas.
All right.
Christmas.
We talked to him again about Christmas.
Let's-
Potential
That's right.
Christmas
We'll
gifts.
have some Christmas gifts for you.
So
The jaws of life for Christmas.
Jaws.
in case Don cooked your Christmas turkey.
That's right.
You need the jaws of life.
And then we'll sell you a fire truck to put the Christmas tree
the
fire
fire
out.
Put the
Yeah,
house
yeah.
out.
So we do a show at Autorama for Thanksgiving, and then we start our Christmas stuff the weekend after Thanksgiving. We'll get a hold of you the first part of December.
Yeah,
there.
don't be going on vacation on us now, because we'll track
right.
you down.
This will be fun.
Sounds good. I'm here.
Greg, thanks again, man.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Greg Berry. The company is called MuniciBid, as in municipal bidding, but
There's stuff
MuniciBid.
on here.
I know.
Flashlights.
There's some great stuff on here. An 83 K30 4-wheel drive for a.
That bidding's already closed on that
Hey, you
one.
know what? You could be his Texas connection.
It's right.
That's it. All right. So thank you very much. Hey, if you want to get in touch with us anytime, just shoot us an email. Our address here is info@inwheeltime.com. Time now for This Week in Auto History. Conrad has that. And we're glad that it's not confused with either events or cruise-ins.
Oh, shut up. In 1903, Stanley Steamer received a patent for a steam motor vehicle, an arrangement of engine on axle and housing.
Flat Stanley.
Well, no, it wasn't Flat Stanley. It was Steamy Stanley. They went over 100 miles an hour in this
That's a
thing. Can you
different
believe
movie.
that?
100 miles an hour.
And then
And you could
punk
probably
glasses.
find it on MuniciBid this afternoon.
That's right. And then in 1947, Saab introduced its first car, the Saab prototype. Saab was primarily a supplier of military aircraft before and during World War II. At the
It
end
was
of the
ugly
war.
today, and it was ugly
Look,
then.
it's got lounge chairs for
But-
seats.
But they have that same look of a Saab since day one.
Oh,
And then in 1948, the first car with a Porsche badge debuted, the 351 prototype. And that exact car is still at the museum, the Porsche Museum, available for viewing and stuff.
like
All
James
aluminum,
Dean.
all aluminum, hand pounded aluminum. In
we know about that.
Oh, my
in
aluminum can pounded.
1956, Junior Johnson and his father were arrested in Wilkesboro, North Carolina, running moonshine whiskey.
Say it ain't so.
He was arrested for making moonshine, not for hauling it, because they couldn't catch him because he was pretty quick. He had pretty fast little car back then.
Souped it up.
And actually, his first moonshine car was an Oldsmobile business coupe, like we saw last
It
week.
had to be.
Is it somebody's museum somewhere?
Well, I don't know. And then in 2006, the animated feature film Cars, produced by Pixar Animation Studios,
Brilliant.
roars into the theater.
Absolutely brilliant.
Wasn't that such a,
Yes, it was.
a good movie? And think about some of the voices that were on that movie.
Oh, yeah.
Owen Wilson, Paul Newman, Larry the Cable Guy, Cheech Marin as Ramon, the 59 Chevy Impala lowrider.
Lowrider, yeah.
George Carlin as Fillmore, the VW bus. Richard Petty, John Ratzenberger as Mac. Bob Costas was on there as Bob Cutlass. Of course, I had to put the Oldsmobile plug in there.
Sure you did.
Daryl Waltrip was on there. Dale Earnhardt Jr. was on there. Michael Schumacher was on. Mm-hmm. His voice was on Cars, as well as Mario Andretti. You know,
that's very cool.
Pretty genius on their part to bring all those truly famous people's voices into the movie. It's a good show to watch today. You know, and even for Pixar / Disney.
Well, it was Pixar back then.
It's not overly political.
It's wholesome, just like us.
Yeah, just like us. So I assume that's this week in
auto history.
I have news.
Oh boy.
Is it headlines or just news?
Oh, NEWS.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
But in fact, over at KTRH, it's your news, weather, and sports station. And there's one phrase that they use on there, news, and it sounds like they've slurred the news with station. News station. It's kind of like one S between the two words.
Like Newfoundland.
So, I don't know. It's weird. Vehicle incentives are rising. New vehicle incentives are rising with inventories, and analysts project that trend will continue throughout the year, costing some brands more than others. Average incentives reached a yearly high of $1,914 per vehicle in May, according to Kelley Blue Book. This story from
low by comparison to history, but yeah.
Yes. Before the pandemic, incentives approached 10% of the average transaction price. You do the math. Inventory is improving overall, and it's improving by brand, but not in an even manner. Toyota and Kia, for example, have very low inventory, whereas Ram and Jeep are at the high end and have been for quite some time. U.S. vehicle buyers in May paid an average less than sticker, a constant trend since January. Remember, for a long time there, if you wanted to buy a new vehicle, you had to pay over and above MSRP. Average price new car buyers in May paid was less than $410 below sticker, but at least it was below. That's a sharp contrast to May of 22, when the average transaction price was $637 more than the sticker price. I thought that these were interesting.
Yep.
Consumers in May paid an average of $44,960 for a non-luxury vehicle, up $158 from April. Ford and Kia had the highest non-luxury transaction prices, selling at more than 3% over sticker in May, according to Kelley Blue Book. That story from Automotive News.
I'm still wandering through me.
I know you are.
We need to buy an ambulance and make it the mobile studio. That would be cool.
Mars is the one with the deep pockets.
You know, just buy it.
How much is it?
Well, they sold the 1997 Ford F-250 ambulance, sold for $5,000.
Mars, you can't even buy a computer for $5,000.
I'll beat that. They sold a 2011 Ford ambulance for $751.
The current bid is $751.
No, sold. This is sold.
No, this ends in 14 days.
Oh.
Yeah. But it's got the tallback to where we can put chairs and stuff in there, just like you see the FBI using when they surveil people they're not supposed to.
Kind of like, the kid did that I went to high school with in the Ford Econoline van that had nothing in the back except folding webbed Kmart chairs that slid all over the back. We could go on a road trip.
I had one of those vans.
Did you? Well, not the van, but the ambulance.
Cheech and Chong, the big bamboo.
And if we
roll that thing in a New York Times newspaper, smoke it for weeks.
Mars?
I'm thinking.
No, we don't think Mars. You just stay right there.
That would work. That would work.
It would work. We'd have to we've got to go to Pennsylvania to get it. I'll bet you we could find one around here.
Oh yeah,
we pay for shipping.
Up at
No, we don't-
290 in Beltway, there's
Do it
a
as a road
graveyard.
trip.
There's a graveyard for Houston Fire Department up there, 290 in Beltway.
Really?
Yep.
Well, there you go. Let's go up
It's off
there.
of Old Homestead Highway
Let's
in
go up there
Beltway.
and rummage around.
But some of
See what
these
we can
things are
find.
burned out,
We
flooded
can
out.
send Michael Wooding up there to do a true value on it.
An appraisal.
Uh-huh. What? What are you
in-wheel
thinking?
time
I'm
mobile
thinking-
Say what
studio.
you're
I'm thinking, you know how cool that would be not to have to unpack this place and go pack it up and set it up and come back.
Yeah,
Just bring
but
some
you still
cables
gotta
out.
wire it once.
And we'll get John Gray to wrap it for us. Ooh. But it would have to retain the ambulance
Oh, yeah.
motif.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we're on the road to
Change the lights to rainbow colors.
When you
no rainbow thing here.
when you
No.
listen to In Wheel Time, we'll put you in the hospital. Take the ambulance.
That's right. And
If you don't listen.
And I bet you on the website we could buy from some municipality somewhere a straitjacket.
Yeah.
And we'd cart you off in the straitjacket.
And then on the side of it, we can have a little barbecue.
A
Little
carb-
grill.
a carb-
Like a food truck.
Yeah.
The window drops down.
A barbecue.
Yeah.
barbecue. Mhm.
See them all the time.
Oh my gosh! Well, I see that we've got the juices flowing, and we're going to have to call Greg back and say, Greg,
Watch where you step.
that's right. I've got a great DeLorean story that I'm going to do next hour, and it's kind of exciting for me anyway. I'm a big DeLorean fan. Well, they're about to launch the new all-electric DeLorean.
Mm-hmm.
And they've picked an ad agency, a boutique ad agency in Austin. So we've got all the stoners over there coming up with all these
Awesome.
ideas. I'm liking it. Yeah.
And it's only going to go 88 miles an hour.
Yeah. Well, and before it disappears in
Before
a
it
flash of
disappears,
lightning.
right?
Mhm. All right. All right, friends. This has been a good, fun segment. Time now for a quick break. We'll be right back. You're on the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show on iHeartRadio.
Everyone at the Tailpipes and Tacos Cruise In at the Lupi Tortilla Tex-Mex in Katy, thank you for participating in the best cruise in around and look forward to seeing you again. You'll hear about the next cruise in date right here on In Wheel Time. Next time you're in the West Houston Energy Corridor area, be sure and stop in at the original Lupi Tortilla Tex-Mex at I-10 and Highway 6 or the Katy location on the Grand Parkway at Kingsland Boulevard. When passing through Beaumont or College Station, stop in and have Lupi's award-winning beef fajitas and frozen margaritas. There's always a celebration at Lupi Tortilla. Lupi Tortilla founder Stan Holt and his wife Sheila are winning racers on the NHRA drag racing circuit and have a collection of hot rods and classics that everyone appreciates. Look for them at the next Tailpipes and Tacos Cruise In. The date will be announced soon and will once again be held at the Lupi Tortilla Tex-Mex on 99 and Kingsland Boulevard, just south of I-10 and Katy. We'll give you all the details right here on the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show and online. Donations benefit God's Garage. We'll see you then. You own a car you love. Well, why not let Gulf Coast Auto Shield protect it? Houstonian John Gray invites you to his state-of-the-art facility to introduce you to his specialist team of auto enthusiasts. We promise you'll be impressed. Whether you're looking to massage your original paint to a like-new appearance, apply a ceramic coating, install a paint protection film, nano-ceramic window tint, or new windshield protection called ExoShield, Gulf Coast Auto Shield is where Houston's car people go. Curbed your wheels? Instead of buying new, why not have them repaired? How about a professionally installed radar detector? Gulf Coast Auto Shield does that too. Get a peek inside the shop and look at the services offered by getting online and heading to gcautoshield.com. Better yet, stop by their facility at 11275 South Sam Houston Tollway, just south of the Southwest Freeway, and get a personal tour. Gulf Coast Auto Shield is your place to go for all things exterior. Call them today, 832-930-5655 or gcautoshield.com. The award-winning In Wheel Time Car Talk Show is available on the most popular podcast channels out there in 30-minute episodes. We realize our 3-hour live show can be difficult to catch in its entirety, so now you can listen every day to a convenient, fresh 30-minute episode. Check us out on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, and Audible, along with a dozen more. In Wheel Time has the most informative automotive guest interviews and new car reviews, along with popular features including Conrad's Car Clinic and This Week in Auto History, along with automotive news headlines. Our live broadcast airs every Saturday, 8 to 11 Central on InWheelTime.com, the iHeart app, and on YouTube. Be sure to say hello when we're broadcasting from the Tailpipes and Tacos Cruise In, Autorama, and the Houston Auto Show, among others. Now, it's easier than ever to hear about all things automotive all week long. You're invited to join fellow car enthusiasts in becoming part of the ever-growing In Wheel Time Car Talk family. Don't forget those 30-minute podcast episodes on your favorite podcast channel. That's it for this podcast episode of the In Wheel Time Car Show. I'm Don Armstrong, inviting you to join us for our live show every Saturday morning, 8 to 11 a.m. Central on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and our InWheelTime.com website. Podcasts are available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, iHeart Podcast, Podcast Addict, TuneIn, Pandora, and Amazon Music. Keep listening, and we'll see you soon.